Hey guys, Billy coming at you here on Saturday night, rare Saturday night edition. Usually I'm playing music or taking pictures on a Saturday night, so this is a rare Saturday night. I'm at home and went out. I actually shot some photos today, this morning. Stayed out way too late last night. Shot some photos this morning, basketball stuff, and ran a few errands afterwards. And when I got home, I actually met the my postal delivery man in the driveway. He was walking back from the house, and he had a package, an international parcel that I needed to sign for, which was great because it gave me time to make this video before Monday, because next week's kind of crazy. But basically, if any of you guys saw Andy's video, audiophile 777. At the beginning of the year, Andy had, I don't know if it was more of a New Year's resolution video or just changes in habits of collecting. That's kind of what I'll look at it as. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. You know, we've all probably been collecting for various different stages, whether it be a new collector or somebody's been collecting for 2 years, 5 years, 15 years, or more. You know, I've been acquiring vinyl most of my life, but serious hardcore got back into it just a handful of years ago. Starting to fill in holes in my collection over the past couple years, 2 or 3 years, and you know, obviously with the resurgence of vinyl, some of the stuff that was very popular in when I was in high school, the things that were kind of molded in me and are kind of driven in me, in my head, those records are they're getting awful hard to find, you know. Well, I think a lot of it also has to do with you know, most of us are probably, I'd reckon we're probably about the same age, 40 to 50, from what I can tell. I just turned 43 a couple days ago. So, being where we're at in our life, we've acquired what we've acquired. We worked hard to acquire what we have. You know, we're raising families, have houses. We all lead different lives, but we are trying to recapture certain things of our youth, and we've got a little bit of disposable income to do that now. If we're fortunate, if we're lucky. Thankfully, I'm fortunate. I have a little bit. I do set myself a budget. Because I have found myself just going crazy sometimes, and that's really what the point of Andy's post and a couple other guys have talked about it, and it really kind of made a light bulb go off in my head. Like, you know, I think too many times we all tend to just buy, you know, kind of not blindly, but just kind of careless buying. Whether it's a bunch of $1 records or, you know, $4 or $5 records, or even anything. It seems to me like a lot of people think like, well, anything less than $10 is, you know, well, that stuff adds up. And then what I find happens with me, and that you guys are probably a little bit different, but that's kind of the way I think. I'll buy $4 and $5 records all day long because, well, it's $4 or $5, you know. But then what I do is I stress out when it comes time to buy. You know, when I run across either at a record convention or show, or on eBay or discogs, a record that I've really been looking for pops up in my want list for sale, and it's $50 or $35 or whatever. I'll be like, you know, I'll kind of give it a second thought. Sometimes I'll pop for it. Most of the time I don't, just because, you know, we're either tapped out that month, or, you know, I've been buying a handful of collections lately, so it's kept me really busy, and it's kind of drained my budget. So with that being said, Andy had made a list. What he was going to do was change the way he kind of approached his collection this year, and he's going to he made a list. Now, he made his list public. He showed everybody what he was going to buy, of like 12 records, make a record of the month. Or whatever he called it, I can't remember. But basically, as opposed to spending all this money on unnecessary stuff that he doesn't need. He's going to really put it into those records of his youth, or whatever he called it. And once a month, he was going to set himself a budget and get that record. And I applaud him for that, because I think we all need to do that. We need to continue to chase after what you want. Yes, it's great to be able to be in the wild and find one of these records that we all want, but let's face it, it's getting harder and harder and harder to do that these days. Alright, sorry about that cut there. The music went haywire. I think I must have had it on shuffle. It's so much easier to just put, when I'm making these videos, I tend to ramble on, just put on the iTunes and let an album play. But it doesn't work when you put it on shuffle. Anyhow, where was I? Oh, so Andy had made a list, and I thought it was a great idea. So I made a list myself. Cut back on my goals. It's not a resolution. It's just a change in the way I'm going to approach collecting this year for 2017. I'm going to try not to buy so many records that I'm going to call meaningless. That are like $4 or $5 records that I can give or take. And if I say 10 of those a month, that's a $50 nut that I'm able to pop for something that I've really wanted, and I won't feel as guilty about it. So that's really the way I decided. I made a list of about 15 records, because some of these are hard records to find. Like I was saying earlier, that's where when we got confused there. We got interrupted. I got confused. As you guys know, some of these records that on Andy's list, on my list, I'm sure if you guys were to make a list, it would be the same way. You don't find these records in the wild. When you do, you get so stoked. It's so rewarding, but you rarely find them in the wild. Just because people hang on to these records, whether it be Anthrax records, or Maiden records, or Metallica records, or and I'm talking OG pressings, first pressings in the highest of condition. Your VG++, your excellent, your near mint. Those records are few and far between, and when you do find them, they're pricey. So what I did was I made myself a list, and I'm going to pop for one a month. That's my goal. If I can cut back on the other crap, go ahead and try and get a record a month. So here is this showed up today. It's my Wishlist record of the month for January. And surprised, but by the music in the background and what's behind me here, it's probably no surprise. The shock value is probably little to nothing. But anyway, let's pop this thing open and see what we have. The seller had advertised this record as excellent plus to near mint, and Michael Bolton. Stiffener. That would have been awful shitty to do to somebody, right? Guy orders this OG pressing of Megadeth's Rust in Peace, and he gets this. So, first impression, I'm impressed, because this was a discogs buy, and I will say more times than not on my discogs purchases, the sellers are pretty good with their descriptions and their grades, way better than eBay. Cover is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. The spine is beautiful. Give you a look here. So this thing here has been a one that has just always gotten away from me for one reason or another. Here's the beautiful inner. I went and popped for the German pressing, and the vinyl looks really beautiful. Beautiful. It's not near mint. I mean, there are a couple marks on it, but it's definitely graded well, and it should play perfectly. I can't wait to put it on the turntable and give it a spin. But the reason I popped for the German one, and I'm probably going to eventually get the US one as well, is because I have a couple other pressings. I think Euthanasia was not pressed in the US. So a couple of the other things, and neither was Countdown, I don't believe, not originally. So those pressings are European or German pressings. So I figured I would just stick with that. And the German pressings still sound good on these. They sound amazing. I obviously can't speak for this one yet because I haven't listened to it, but I'm sure it's going to be great. It looks fantastic. But that one has always kind of gotten away from me because it was one of those things where in 1990, this came out in 1990? Yes, 1990, I would have been a sophomore in high school, and I was probably in the interchange between cassettes and CDs at that time, and really wasn't actively pursuing any vinyl. And as you guys know, this is not something that you see out. You don't stumble across this record. You have to seek out this record more times than not. So, not that I haven't seen it on eBay and I haven't seen it on discogs, but when I do, and you guys know, if you guys are looking for an OG copy in this shape, in excellent plus to near mint condition, whether it's a German copy or a US pressing, they're going to cost. They're going to be up there. They're going to be $75, $80 to $100. So, with that being said, I never would pop for it. This one I popped for. I'll tell you what. I paid $60 for this, and that was $60, and then I think it was $11 or $12 to ship it. So less than $75. But that's, I think, as long as everything plays fine, I think that's a fair price on that. So I'm at $75. Let's just say $75. That's 12 or 15 records that I just gave up this month that I wouldn't probably have the time to listen to anyway, or I didn't need to throw in the collection. So that is my change. So far I've been able, we're what, the 20th? 21st. Made it from the 21st of the month, and so far I've been good. I've visited a couple thrift stores. I went to a record shop and didn't go crazy. I may have bought one or two things, and I actually picked up a couple CDs for $1. But other than that, I've been very good. Done a couple trades here and there. I even stayed away from the St. Louis record convention, which was last week. Stayed away from that because I knew I wouldn't be able to show any restraint. I would go in there, and if I found a table full of good metal records or good classic rock records, I would blow my budget, and then I would be screwed for this month or for February. And I didn't want to do that. I'm looking forward to being able to reveal these for you guys every month, as well as add something great, a great piece of vinyl to my collection that has been eluding me for quite some time. So, Megadeth, rest in peace. Don't need to talk about it. You guys all know. Phenomenal album. So, tune in next time. I don't know how long it will be. It will be sometime in February, but I have already found the record that I'm going to buy for February. I just need to wait till it gets here and do a video. Until then, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Give it a like. If you're not liking it, give it one of these. At least I know you're watching. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know about how you're wanting to collect. If make any changes in your collecting for the upcoming year. Maybe you're perfectly happy with the way you collect. It's open for discussion. Let's talk about it. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Peace.